Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks again for watching. It is a sunscreen, I don't know if it's a showdown. It's really more like a side-by-side comparison. And today I'm going to be sharing the Tula sunscreens with you. So this is the brand Tula, Tula Skincare. And one of their big claims is in every product they have prebiotics, probiotics. That's kind of like their main thing. And they have two sunscreens, as you can see. This is the one that they had in the beginning, and this is not new. And then this is their newer one. So this is their chemical or inorganic sunscreen, and this is their mineral or organic sunscreen. So I'm going to be testing out both. I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison. They're not meant to be the same thing. It's a good way to kind of highlight and show the differences and maybe similarities. So that's what we're going to do. Before we get going, please do make sure you are subscribed to my channel. If you like this video while you're watching, if you like it at the end, if you like it right now, give it a big thumbs up. That does help my channel so much. And let me know in the comments below if you have tried either of these ones or if they sound like something that you would be interested in. So I fixed the monitor that I used to record, and the picture is so much clearer. I'm like, whoa, what was I using before? Like, how could I see my face? Kind of like my mirror, which I talked to you guys about a while ago. And I forget which video. It was so dirty that I really could not see. Yeah, so it's clean now, and apparently now I can see my face, so that's good. Okay, so we have two sunscreens, and like I said, this is our chemical or organic sunscreen, and this is our mineral or inorganic sunscreen. I'm going to use those terms interchangeably. I probably won't stop saying chemical or mineral just because that's what most people know, but the kind of the actual terminology would be organic and inorganic. So the first one we're going to be talking about is the Tula Organic. So this is the Protect and Glow Daily Sunscreen Gel Broad Spectrum SPF 30. So it is SPF 30 and it retails for $36 and you get 1.7 fluid ounces or 50 milliliters. They also have a larger size, which is 3.38 ounces or 100 milliliters, and that retails for $56, I believe. Yes. So you're actually getting a better deal. So if this is something that you like, I would recommend getting the larger size, then you don't need to repurchase as often and you're also saving money. So the filters in this one, we have avobenzone 3%, homosalate 10%, and octisalate 5%. Pretty standard, just right out of the bag, nothing crazy. They don't actually say what it's free from, which is good because a lot of companies say like oxybenzone or octinoxate free, and this one is, but that's not one of the big claims. They do say that it's reef safe, which, I mean, that's one of those things where if you start researching it, that's kind of a claim that's been disputed, and pretty much by most scientists saying that chemical sunscreens don't actually cause reef damage. It's a lot of other things like global warming, but they do say they continue to use that kind of terminology that it's reef safe, which I wish they would do without. Okay, so the next thing on my checklist is scent. So I'm going to start applying it as I talk about the scent. And I'm also going to let you kind of see the texture of it. So can you see this? It's the first time I ever tried it was actually a few years ago, and I didn't love it because it has this kind of like cottage cheesy, that's the best word I can use, cottage cheesy consistency, and I was just kind of turned off by it. I don't dislike it now. That was actually, I think it was like one of the first sunscreens that I tried from a brand that wasn't just like a drugstore sunscreen, and that and the smell kind of turned me off. That said, I don't mind the smell. I just was not used to it at that point, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. The smell, if you start looking through like Tula reviews or just about this sunscreen, one of the biggest things is people are like, how can people put this on their face? It smells like garbage. I don't necessarily smell that. I smell pineapple, like not citrus, but like papaya, like, you know, those kind of like tropical fruits. And it's pretty strong. I don't mind it. I think it actually smells nice, but I can see how people would not like it at all. It is quite strong, and it's there. It's not like one of those like mild scents. So that's a scent. If you are sensitive to scents, if you just don't like having like extra parts in your sunscreen, this would be one that you would probably avoid. Okay, so ingredients in this one. This one, both of them actually have quite a bit, and they kind of, one of their claims is that it's like a skincare first sunscreen. So you are going to be getting a lot of extracts, a lot of different ingredients that are meant to kind of help with your skincare. If you've watched any of my other sunscreen videos, you know that I wouldn't say go to this sunscreen for your skincare. It's great if you get additional properties and benefits from it. And if you need other parts in your skincare routine, like moisturization, you're not going to get it from your sunscreen. So just don't count on it to be the one and done kind of thing. But that said, it does have quite a bit. Both of these have probiotic and I believe prebiotic extracts in it. And then in this one, they have pineapple, papaya, lots of fruit extracts, lactic acid, green tea extract, Hawaiian white ginger extract, which they actually called wild butterfly ginger extract. So yeah, arginine, which is an amino acid. What else? I think that's kind of those are the big ones, but it is full of kind of like these really great extracts that you typically see in more like skincare, not just a sunscreen. They also say that it has encapsulated technology, which is what I felt with the kind of like cottage cheesy texture. And it says encapsulated technology breaks into a beautiful non-greasy gel texture upon application and leaves a gorgeous glow that wears well under makeup or on its own. So that kind of gets into the next thing. What is the finish like? I mean, I think you can see this side of my face, I have my normal skincare and I had been sitting, it had been on for maybe an hour or two, so it had soaked in for the most part. Not super glowy, but not like dry or matte. And this side is glowy, quite glowy. I can see the reflection on my camera. And there is no hiding behind that. If you want a glowy, kind of like dewy texture sunscreen, this is one of the best ones for that. I want to show you on my hand kind of a little bit more of the texture and the color. So it doesn't have a white cast. I would say that this is going to be good on all skin tones. There's just this really interesting kind of like luminescence. I would almost say it's kind of like the glow screen from Supergoop, but like a toned down version of that. So if you were interested in the Supergoop, the glow screen one, but it was just a lot for you, this might be a better option because it does have like just the tiniest hint of something. And that's why this is one of those products that I would say is just perfect under makeup if you want that extra glowy look. On its own, it can be a lot, especially now in the summer. Like for me to walk out of the house like this, I would do it because I'm crazy, but also like most people probably wouldn't. So they say you can wear it alone, but for me personally, it's definitely one I would wear under makeup or even just under a light like concealer and a few things like that. So it's not bad, it's glowy. I also think for oily skin, this is going to be a lot, as evidenced by my face. For drier skin people, it's confusing because you'd think like, of course, like it makes you look glowy and dewy, but it doesn't actually have a ton of moisturizing properties in the formula. So I don't think this is one that I would recommend when you say like, I want a moisturizer and a sunscreen. This is going to give you the glowy look, but it's not actually going to moisturize you. So put your moisturizer on and then put this on and then you'll be fine, but it's not going to do like a one and done. So my final rating for this, it's not bad. I would say like it kind of is in the range of 7 to 8, and that could go down or it could go up, like I always say. Like for me personally, it's probably right around a 7, but I think for some people it's going to be closer to an 8. And then of course some people lower it to a 6, but I do like the fact that it is going to be invisible on pretty much everyone. I don't think anyone is going to have a cast from this. I just think that it kind of depends on what kind of finish you want. That's the main differentiator. Let's get into number 2. Okay, so this is called Mineral Magic Oil-Free Mineral Sunscreen Fluid Broad Spectrum SPF 30. So UVA, UVB protection, both of these have it. Forgot to mention that. They are both SPF 30. This one is 1.52 fluid ounces, so you're getting a little bit less. That is 45 milliliters. This one is 50 milliliters, and this retails for $38, so $2 more. If you're going for price and deal, like this one offers you more for less of a price, this one is more expensive and you get less of it. In terms of filters, this one has 3.6% titanium dioxide and 2.34% zinc oxide, which is kind of low. Those are both pretty low. And I know if you've ever watched anything about sunscreens, there's more to the formula than just the active ingredients. So although they do kind of total up to having like about 6% of zinc and titanium dioxide, your SPF rating is not dependent on just that. They do factor other things into it. In terms of application, the name does suggest that it's fluid, and it is quite fluid. Like, look at that. For a mineral or inorganic sunscreen, I would say that this is one of the most fluid ones that I've seen. And the scent is interesting. I think it has similar kind of citrusy notes, but they're not nearly as strong as the first one. So this would be kind of an option for those of you out there that just don't like scents in their sunscreens, or your skin is very sensitive to that. This one is a lighter scent, but it still has a little bit of a scent. Okay, so that was the application. Honestly, one of the easiest mineral or inorganic sunscreen applications that I have, that I've tried, and I've tried quite a few. And we're going to go over some of the ingredient callouts for this one. They have S6 Pro Complex, which is a proprietary, wow, that's hard to say, proprietary blend of pre and probiotics. So again, that's kind of what Tula is known for. There are pre and probiotics. And then it has tons of fruit extracts. We have peach, turmeric, beet. There's also red algae, wild butterfly ginger root. That's the same one, the Hawaiian one. Willow herb, and then also iron oxides. The ingredient list is pretty full. So if you are interested in the full ingredient list, I would suggest going to their website. It looks pretty good, but I'm not going to be able to cover every single ingredient in it, of course. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that sunscreen is one of the trickiest, probably the hardest skincare product to formulate. So looking at the ingredient list can only tell you so much. You have to know the percentages, have to know where each ingredient comes from. There's a lot more to it than just looking at the ingredient list. So that's why I don't go super in depth into the ingredients for these. So in terms of finish, I think you can see a pretty clear difference. This side is very dewy. This was the, what's it called? Protect and Glow, hence the glow. And then this one is our Mineral Magic side. And it does tend to be a little bit more, I'm not going to call it matte, but it's kind of like a natural, maybe satin finish. And it kind of depends on your skin type and the weather, of course. So right now it's like blazing hot in North Carolina. It's so humid. You walk outside and you're just like, did I step into a sauna? I think so, yes. So that's why for me right now, it does tend to look a little glowier, but I would say in normal weather, it's not gonna have as much of a glow or any glow on most people unless you have super oily skin. So this is kind of like baseline. Like if you just want baseline, no anything, then you wanna add highlighter or whatever, this would be a great option. So in terms of cast, there's no cast on this for me whatsoever, but it only has 2.34% zinc oxide, which is a very low percentage. But I can only speak for my skin tone, and skin tone's lighter than me. There's not gonna be a cast. I think for darker skin tones, you probably aren't gonna get as much of a cast as a typical heavy mineral sunscreen. And that's just because this one is so fluid, like you saw when I applied it, and kind of just from the application method. It is almost like a liquid, and that actually really helps when you go to apply it and rub it in. It's not gonna be chalky. It's not gonna have a hard time getting into your hairline or your eyebrows. You're gonna be able to blend it out very easily. So I think this would be a really good option for darker skin tones as well. So this is actually one of the ones that I love pretty much in every way. Like this, of course, I could leave the house looking like that. I think my skin looks great. I think this side is still quite glowy and crazy looking. Not a problem, but just not like how I prefer. I want it toned down a little. But this one is great under makeup. It's great on its own. It really doesn't feel like much. Like you don't feel like you have anything on your face. And it does, I would say, set down more than a typical heavy greasy mineral sunscreen. So I like this one alone, which I can't say for most mineral sunscreens. And then it wears really great under makeup. And I just think that you can kind of tell from what it looks like on my face. So my final rating for this, I would give this one an 8 out of 10. It's a very good sunscreen. I actually prefer it more than this one because it's a little bit more versatile. Like I said, I can wear it alone. I can wear it under makeup. I don't have to think about oh, am I gonna have to blend it in? Am I gonna have to wear something over it? I can just put it on without thinking, which is a really great thing. The only reason I don't give it a higher rating, I do think that those percentages are a little low for me personally. I'm someone who has suffered and suffers still through and with melasma, so I have to be careful about the amount of sunscreen that I wear and the percentages that I wear. And I'm not saying that this doesn't meet the SPF 30 claim, but I'm just a little bit more cautious to the extreme where like I want something that's stronger, I want something heavier duty. With this, I would only wear this if I was going to be able to reapply it, so like not wearing a lot of makeup over it. And if I was going to be out in the sun all day, like on a walk or at the park, I wouldn't wear this one. It's not heavy duty enough. I think this is a really great option if you're going to be inside, maybe at your office, not really sitting by the window, that kind of thing, and you can reapply it. It's like your off-duty sunscreen. You still want to have protection, but you don't need something super crazy. For something when I'm going to be out in the sun, I'll wear like a sport one or something that I know has like super high protection. So guys, that is it. These are the two sunscreens from Tula right now. I think they're doing a really great job. I wish I could see a little bit more of their research and actual like findings on the percentages for this one. This one I think is a great option for a lot of people. It's not one that I normally reach for unless I'm going to put makeup on, but I think they both kind of offer pretty different sides of the sunscreen spectrum for people, and they're also very inclusive for people of different skin tones, which is something of course I love to see. So if you have any questions, oh, and I forgot to mention, neither are water resistant or sweat resistant. So if you need something out in the sun, out swimming, they even say on their website that you should find one that is water resistant. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about either one of these, I think they're great options. They are not the cheapest products, but I do like them, and I would probably purchase these over any of the Supergoop ones. That's kind of the brand that I kind of am thinking in my head that they kind of relate to. But of course, Supergoop has like 15, 20 different sunscreens, and Tula only has 2. So that's it. We're going to wrap up here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!